And welcome everyone to another installment of RJG Games. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk more about conventions. Kind of mentioned that in passing in the past, but kind of wanted to go in a little deeper, not too deep, by the way. So what I decided to do, I'm going to basically talk about one convention a year from 2011 to last year. Kind of don't want to go too deep into it. There were years that I attended a lot of conventions. There were years that I attended less. And in passing, I will talk about conventions I attended before 2011. For example, Dragon Con 2010. By the way, this is my stash of convention badges. And these range not just from anime and sci-fi conventions, but I've also attended other type of conventions like SIGGRAPH, which is more of a technological type of event for the entertainment industry. So I attended those kind of events, but mostly primarily kind of fandom. This is from 2014 Anime Los Angeles. Got another SIGGRAPH here, SIGGRAPH, another ALA. So when I refer to ALA, I mean Anime Los Angeles. So here's another one. Wow, Anime Expo. This is from the 20th year they held the event. I'm pretty sure this is from 2011 or 2012. I think this is from 2012. But as you can see, Long Beach Comic Expo. And then I got some more over here on this side. These are a little more recent. So WonderCon, LA Comic Con, Anime Expo 2019, Anime Expo 2018, Anime Los Angeles 2019. This is the last. This is from last year. I almost went this year, by the way, but I ended up not going, and now I wish I would have gone. MechaCon in New Orleans. It was a really good convention, Pacific Media Expo, PMX, back when it used to be in by LAX. Since then, they moved to Pasadena, and they ended up skipping 1 year. Here's another one from Long Beach Comic Expo. Oh, this is interesting. LA Comic Con. This is when it had just stopped being called Kamikaze Expo. So conventions changed a lot of names. Another one from SIGGRAPH. So as you can see, I've been to many conventions. Comic-Con 2018. That was the last Comic-Con I went to, though. I almost went last year. I had my badge and everything. Ended up not going. I kind of regret not going now. I wish I would have. Was all lined up to go this year, and basically the world had a lot of different plans. So what I'm going to be doing now, wow, WonderCon 2015. Look how the badge used to be for WonderCon as opposed to the WonderCon 2018 badge. Very different, very different. All right, so what I'm going to do, I made a little compilation of videos from 2011 to 2019. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the video. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a description, a little bit of a background for that year. Again, I chose one convention per year. I did double up on a couple of them. There were years that I went to less conventions and years that I went to more. So it gave me a little more to pull from. But I kind of later on I want to go do a separate installment on specific conventions. So I want to spread it out and not do it all back to back. So here we go. I'm going to start with the very first one. Anime Expo 2011. Now this was the first Anime Expo I ever went to. And you might look at this and go, this is very crowded. And I'll tell you right now, this is not at all crowded compared to how it got through the years. And you'll see it a little later. But this year in particular, the reason I wanted to go more than anything is because it was the first year that Hatsune Miku was going to be performing here in the United States. And they chose Anime Expo as the venue, and the event was called Mikonopolis. So, as a reason I went, this is the The I guess you can call it the dealer's room, but it's definitely not a room. It's huge. Now, right here, these are the Power Rangers. Um, they were promoting Power Morphicon, and it's an event that's become biannually. It happens once every 2 years, and this is before they had the first one. And back then, I used to have this project called Video Ideas TV. You can look it up, and you can see the logo right there, Video Ideas TV. I still have videos up on YouTube. And I used to go to conventions, basically interview celebrities, cosplayers, and just attendees on their opinion on the event, on with the celebrities, how they doing, what they've been doing since we last saw them, things like that. And this was really, really nice being able to interview these actors here from the Power Rangers, one of my all-time favorite shows. Now this is at Mykonopolis. This is at the back then the Nokia Theater, now known as the Microsoft Theater. This was my first exposure to Danny Shu, and he introduced Dance Royce. They were the pre-show, and Dance Royce, for those of you who are familiar, is usually a much bigger group, but they only had two come out for Anime Expo 2011. This is at Tsunemiku, first time appearing in front of a U.S. audience. I guess you can call it a live performance. This was an experience all on its own. I know it was part of Anime Expo. The tickets sold out right away. I was lucky enough to have been able to go online. I was still at work, I remember, when this happened, and I was able to buy the tickets. And yeah, this was good. Okay, so now we're moving on to MegaCon 2012. MegaCon I had actually started attending much earlier, back when I still lived in Florida. By this time, I was already living in LA, but I decided to go to Florida to cover MegaCon 2012. And by this time, this event had grown so significantly compared to how it had been in the past. They had to expand. There were so many people. And that's George Perez, by the way, that green Hawaiian shirt that we just passed. If you can go back. Here I'm interviewing Jonathan Carroll, one of the nicest, most professional, coolest cosplayers I've ever met. I ran into him at several conventions, Dragon Con, and he lived here in LA for a little while before going back to Florida. Now, this is a part of the conventions that I really like, the Artist Alley. I buy so much art at conventions, and I kind of find my favorite artists, and I'm kind of disappointed when I don't run into them at events. But sometimes that happens because one of my favorite artists actually started working on a very well-known project, which I'll talk about at another another installment. Now, this is Phoenix Comic Con 2013. And yes, you might think I misspelled Comic Con. That's how they spelled it. That's how they spelled it. Comic Con with one C and one word. Now, this is my friend Ejan from Cosplay of America interacting with some cosplayers that he just photographed. And they recognized them, and they were fangirling right there. Now, during this year, 2013, he was going around taking pictures for his second book, Cosplay in America version 2. As I recall, this was the first road trip that we took together after becoming friends. And from here, he flew out to Fanime, I believe so, Fanime, halfway through Phoenix Comic Con. Here we go. For 2014, I brought us back to Anime Expo. 2014, I didn't go to that many events. And it's like, convention-wise, for me, it was just a really downer of a year. But I still had a good time, as you can tell. This panel right here actually introduced all the original English cast of voice actors of Sailor Moon. And the reason they introduced them is because later they brought out the new voice actors of the new Sailor Moon. So this was definitely a really cool panel to be able to attend and be there as press for my venue, Video Ideas TV. And yes, this was in Petrie Hall, and it was packed. Now, right after that, I went right across the way to see Danny Shu. He had his panel on the last day. This is when the fans, after the panel, they go up and meet him one-on-one, get autographs, whatnot. Now, this right here, this is at the main hall. This is something they started doing at the main hall, I would say about 5 years ago, 20. Actually, I think this is the first year they did this. And they started putting video games. This has grown so much. They've added so much to expand much further. There's so much stuff happening now at the main hall than they're used to. Okay, Long Beach Comic Expo in 2015. No need to tell you what city this took place. It's in the name. This was definitely, at the time, it was a smaller event. It has grown, not too big. I like the Long Beach Convention Center because it's not as big as LA. So it kind of keeps the crowds down, but it's still a good event. This is the late Richard Hatch. Some of you might recognize him from Battlestar Galactica. I wasn't creeping on him, by the way. I was waiting to interview him about the project he was promoting. These are some of the cosplayers hanging out at the front. As you can tell, this is definitely one of the things that I really enjoy about going to conventions. Just people going there, having fun. No judgments. Just everybody have something in common, and that's what I like about it. You can identify with a lot of the people there. Now, for 2016, I'm taking you guys to Anime Japan. Yes, this is in Tokyo. This was actually my second convention in Japan, and this was my 5th time traveling to Tokyo. And conventions in Japan are very different than here in the States. Actually, I should make an installment about that alone, about just how conventions differ from there to here, and I'll show you guys very briefly on that. Here in the States, in conventions, when you're at the dealer's room or the main hall where all the dealers are, where merchandise area. If a cosplayer that you want to take a picture of walks by, you can just stop and take pictures. I've seen crowds just mount up, and it stops the flow of traffic. In Japan, they have sections outside just dedicated for that alone. You cannot take pictures inside the convention area, inside the dealer's hall. Now, the Tokyo Big Site, where Anime Japan takes place, is located in Odaiba, and there's a lot more to do in Odaiba. You should not go to this event without going and hitting these other places in Odaiba. And this is at the stop is called Daiba, just like that, Daiba, like it sounds. And there's 2 huge shopping malls, Aqua City, the ones you see here, and where the Gundam was that you saw previously. That's at Diver City. So this is TitanCon 2017. Bring this event to talk about here briefly because it is a small event. This took place at Fullerton, Hell State Fullerton, here in California, and it was put together by the student union. It didn't cost anything to attend, and it was held in the student body building. And I liked it because it was small and cozy. Kind of took me back to the events I first started attending back in 1997. So this is, again, it's like the small event community. Again, pretty much like the other events everybody goes to have fun. You can cosplay, buy merchandise. Not a lot dealers-wise, but definitely there was a lot of art. For 2018, I want to talk about this Miku Expo. Even though it wasn't really a convention as much as it was a concert, I want to include this one because just the experience alone. Now, I talked about Mikunopolis 2011 when it happened at Anime Expo in 2011. Now, this kind of branched off to be its own event. Miku Expo happens every 2 years worldwide. and it's just so much bigger than what Mykonopolis was. And this is when the show starts. You know, the music is playing and it intensifies, and everybody's just waiting for Miku to come out, and here she is. Everybody goes wild, it's just crazy. And you know, it's not just Miku you see some of the other Vocaloids come out and perform as well. The shows for Miku Expo they're definitely longer than what Mykonopolis was. A lot more songs to listen to. It's just insane. Happened at the same theater, now known as the Microsoft Theater. As you can see, this is toward the end right here, and everybody kind of knows it. Once that confetti comes out, it's like the streamers. It's like you know the show's ending. Okay, so for the last convention I'm going to talk about in the video, I bring it back to Anime Expo 2019, the one I went to last year, and here it is. They are called Lowly Angels. They've actually gone to a lot of conventions between here and Nevada. They've performed here in the States several times. This is the not the main hall. This is the West Hall, the South Hall. That's what they call this. The South Hall, and they have little things going on there. A lot more people, definitely compared to 2011 and 2014. And you will see this is when people are still coming in, so it's not yet that crowded. This is the beer garden, which actually they added in 2018 for the first time. Here we go. This is how you can tell how much more Anime Expo has grown. And this is the Artist Alley, and it's look at how many people, but look at the art as well. So yeah, Anime Expo has become a beast to reckon with when it comes to attendance. And this was like a little museum they added, kind of showing the history of Anime Expo through the years. And it's funny too, because they're going to have a little timeline come up here that I'm going to show, where they talk about when it started and when it moved from one place to another. It's funny that they don't mention that in 1999, Anime Expo was held at the Disneyland Hotel Convention Center. It's not mentioned there at all. It's funny because I remember I was working at Disney at that time, and I remember hearing someone mention Anime Expo happening. I didn't go back then. And this is round one put up a place in the video game area, and this is one of the games they added, the AKB48. They actually have a zombie video game. So this is in the main hall. How I mentioned that they've added so much more, and this is all part of that. It's gotten so much bigger, and actually that area of Anime Expo, when this section right here, the dealer's room, when this closes, pretty much everybody goes to the main hall because that's what's still open. It stays open kind of late. So when there's pretty much the panels are winding down and everything, but you don't want to go home or back to your hotel yet, that's the place to go, the main hall. Let's see, and this is, I can't remember where this is exactly.
So here I am at the end of Anime Expo 2019. In about 20 minutes, the entertainment hall, the artist alley, and the exhibition hall are going to start emptying out onto this section. This is going to get crowded, and shortly after that, these halls will start to become empty once again until the next event. Today marks the end of my continuous attendance to Anime Expo since 2011. So I don't know if I will come back next year. I probably won't, because I want to pursue other interests in conventions that actually got me into attending conventions back in 1996, which is sci-fi. So for those of you who will continue to attend, and for those of you who will be attending for the first time this wonderful event, post about it and let me know how it is, just to see how things progress. And hopefully one day in the next couple of years, I'll come back and get to see you guys here soon, hopefully. But until then, maybe I'll see you at an event near you. I hope I do. Happy travels, everyone, and I'll see you out there. Take care.
Alright, so on that last part of the video, that was the last video I recorded at Anime Expo last year. And that was the last event I attended last year. And basically, I mentioned how I was going to shift my attendance from that point on to focus a little more into the conventions that first started getting me into events, which were more sci-fi convention based. Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, all that kind of stuff. First conventions I attended were actually at Denver, Colorado when I was in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Carson. And even though they had a couple of events in Colorado Springs, conventions in Colorado Springs were very rare, very few and far between. And they usually, if they did happen there, they happened while I was in the field training. So I missed a lot of those conventions. So the ones that lined up with my availability were the ones in Denver. So I attended the Creation Entertainment conventions in Denver. I attended 2 there. And then after that, I attended conventions in Pasadena once I moved to LA. And then I just kind of went away from the convention scene for a while, and then ended up moving to Florida. And that's when I started getting into conventions again by attending MegaCon. And then, from there on, I just kind of been attending conventions nonstop up until this year. This year, it's the first year that I have not attended a single event. In a way, I kind of have. I guess you can say the closest thing to any convention I've been to, any event like that, were a Knott's Berry Farm. They were able to open the park, but not as a theme park, but more for food festivals. The first one I went to was Knott's Taste of Calico. And it's funny, this is one of the first food events they held. And you can tell they just printed these cardboards out, and they would break off here. The next one I went to, I missed one in between that one and the Knott's Taste of Halloween. I missed one in between the two. But this one here, you can tell that they laminated the list of all the places you could get food at. And started here, it didn't break. So I went to that. And most recently, I went to Knott's Taste of Mary Farm, which is this one here. Not really a convention, but the closest thing that I had this year to attending a convention type event. So I was able to attend these 3 here, but not an actual convention. I wish I would have gone to Anime LA. At the beginning of the year, I almost went. I was really close, but I decided not to. And the funny thing, that weekend there were 2 events happening, ALA and Long Beach Comic Expo. Out of the 2, I really should have gone to Long Beach Comic Expo because I kind of enjoyed that one more. But that's what happened. That's how this year went on. So here it is, my entire badge collection. And I'm missing some, actually. Some events actually have wristbands. So I have those in a book somewhere in a little binder, and I can't seem to find it. I try looking for it. I put stuff away, and I got autographs on there from dating back to 1995. So once I find it, I'll share that with you guys here. I'll make another installment with talk about autographs and pictures with celebrities I've taken at conventions. That's definitely a good topic to leave for another time. But here we are. This is it. How many conventions have you gone to? Which have been your favorite, and which have been your bad convention experiences? Everybody has good and bad, so comment below. Let me know. Everybody click that like button if you liked it. Click that thumbs down if you didn't. I'll cry, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. But nonetheless, click on either one whether you like it or not. Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. So guys, thank you for watching. Take care, be kind, rewind.